What I'm going to share with you today is lasagna soup with a 3 cheese topping, and this cheese topping is mozzarella, ricotta, and parm. Oh boy, you know what? It's delicious. Come join me. I'll show you how to make it. Hi there, it's Grandma Roseanne. We're going to make lasagna soup. I made this a few weeks ago, and honestly, we cannot get past it because it was so good that I'm making it again just for you. So the first thing we want to do is we want to get our water to a rapid boil, which it is. I have 12 ounces of lasagna, and I'm going to put that in, and we're only going to cook it for 4 minutes. Now what I'm doing here is I'm making sure that these are separated so that they all get, got a lot of steam here, so that they all get cooked properly. I don't want them butting up, and they seem to want to. Be careful because that's hot. Now, my 4 minutes is up, so I'm going to drain them, and then I will show you what we're going to do with them. Moving my heating element out of the way, we don't need it right now. Now I have a parchment lined sheet here. I'm just going to spray it with a little bit of olive oil, and then we are going to lay our lasagna out, just like this. There, just like that. Now I have 2 tablespoons of melted butter, which we're going to just coat ever so nicely. We want every last drop of that butter. Now you're going to want to run your fingers down this a little bit so that the layers below are going to be able to absorb some of that butter. My oven is preheated to 425. As you do this, you will see how important it is to get down in there and get that butter to all the lower half of the noodle. We're going to pop this in the oven until it is golden brown and bubbly. I let these bake for 15 minutes, and they are just perfect. I mean, they are blistery. They're golden. They're going to be so good, you guys. They're going to be so good. And isn't that what lasagna does? I mean, it gets crusty on the edges. Exactly the same thing that happened here. So we're going to set this aside because obviously it's too hot for us to work with, and we'll continue on with the recipe. Okay, I have my pot on high heat. I'm putting in just a little bit, I don't know, maybe a couple teaspoons of olive oil. And then I'm putting in 1 pound of ground beef. You hear that sizzle? And a ½ pound of sausage, Italian sausage. And what I have here is the mild. If you guys prefer the hot, you're welcome to do that. I don't do heat very well. Now all I did was just split the casing, take it off, just like that, drop it in. Now, you're going to want to make sure that those are combined, but you don't want to break this up into little pieces. You want to have some substance in there. So I'm just making sure that they're combined, and then I'm going to let them cook undisturbed until I know that there is a kind of a good crust that has been developed, and then I'll stir it. You can pretty well gauge this when it's ready to be turned, when most of the water has evaporated from it. So we're going to give that a little stir. We have a nice little crust on the bottom. And we're going to continue cooking now until it's all cooked. But remember, you don't want it really minced. You do want some chunks of meat in there. So don't go too crazy on the cutting up part. Now to this, we're going to add 1 onion. That would be about 1 onion. And 3 minced garlic cloves. And we're going to let that cook down for a little bit. And then we're going to add our seasoning. So I'm going to tell you what I have in here, but it will be in the description box, so you don't have to write it down. I have 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, 1/4 teaspoon of oregano, 1/2 teaspoon of pepper, 1.5 teaspoons of kosher salt, and we just nicely sprinkle that in. And then we're gonna let this cook for a few minutes to get all of that flavoring into all of that meat. Oh, that was hot. Now you can either, if you have homemade tomato sauce like I do, you're going to use 3 cups of it, or go to your grocery store, get your very favorite marinara sauce, and you want 16 ounces. Doesn't look right. It wasn't labeled. It's tomato juice. We are not going to use that, but we will have it for breakfast. I don't know how something gets into my pantry that I have canned that is not labeled, but it's problematic when that happens. I never buy the jarred marinara, but for Christmas somebody gave this to me, so it really has come in handy, I'll tell you. All right, I'm going to wash this out a little bit so that I can use the rest of it in here. All right. It's always nice to have something on hand. Now we're going to bring it up to a boil, reduce the heat, let it simmer for 45 minutes. You have to give it time for all of those spices to blend and to really, really give us the flavor that we're looking for. And that doesn't happen in 5 minutes. While that's doing what it needs to do to intensify flavor, these have cooled down enough, and now I'm ready to work with our lasagna noodles. You can break them or cut them, whichever might be easier. And I'm thinking maybe breaking is going to be easier. I'm not quite sure. I don't remember how I did it last time. No, I think breaking is easier. I think if it's the crusty ones, then probably breaking is going to be easier. But if it's the ones that are not quite so crusty, I think cutting is going to be easier. So our lasagna noodles are ready to go. So now we're going to work on the cheese sauce. You can have lasagna without cheese. So in here I have 12 ounces of ricotta. I'm going to zero out my scale. 3 ounces of mozzarella. And 0. And 4 ounces of parm. And you just want to get it all mixed in together. That ricotta really helps to make the mixing, the blending of these cheeses easy. Now I can bring my heating element back. I've got room, and I can bring my soup back. Now, this is where the magic happens. It's very liquidy, it's like a liquid soup, but once we put these in, you will never guess what happens. Yes, you will. Because of the starch in the noodles, it's going to thicken our soup. And we are going to finish cooking off the lasagna. Because you know, we only had it boiling for 4 minutes. This is this is a fun soup, you guys. Now my grandkids are coming tomorrow from Texas, and even though, don't give them split pea soup. Oh my goodness. Don't give them cream of mushroom soup. But I think this one will be a winner. So we're gonna let this kind of, like a medium high for like maybe 10 minutes. And then we can sample it. Oh my goodness, you should see how thick and luscious this soup is. Oh, and then, let's scoot this over. We need just like a dollop. All right, gonna mix that cheese into the sauce, let it melt. And while I'm at it, if I could ask any one of you who are experienced, I have this sweet little bowl. It's got this thing on the end of it, just one thing on the end of it. I have no idea what it's for. There's not another one over here and it didn't break off. If anyone has ever had something like that and you understand what it is, let me know. I have no idea. All right, now back to the business of eating soup. Want it? Lasagna noodles are perfect. I don't want to burn my mouth again. And I don't want to lose my noodle. I don't want to lose my noodle. There, soup and noodle on the spoon, ready. That's what I call an exciting soup. My goodness, this is a wonderful, wonderful meal. And you know what? We're going into fall. A lot of you in the Midwest or the East Coast, it's getting cold, you know, and it's going to get a lot colder for you. What a warm, wonderful soup to be able to serve for your family or for yourself. I would fix this soup for myself anytime. So thank you, bon appetit, come back, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell, ingredients below. Thank you. We'll see you on the next video. Bye. Yum.